Welcome to Three and Out with Jason and Kevin. I'm Jason. That is Kevin. We are brought to you by the Orange and Black Insider on YouTube and Believe. We're a member of Believe in Cincy on the Believe Network. That's our podcast side. It's not just us. It's Anthony and John over at OBI. It's Matt and Willie No Ball, and then it's Bengal Jim and Friends. And they're a great show every week. So subscribe both of those. Again, Believe in Cincy on iTunes and everywhere else you can get podcasts, and Orange and Black Insider on YouTube. And speaking of Bengal Jim and Friends, Kevin and I will just start things off. A couple weeks ago, we didn't have a show last week, but a couple weeks ago we went to Jungle Jam over at the Megacorp Pavilion in Northern Kentucky, which Bengal Jim and Friends kind of hosted, and it was a huge event. It was massive. I mean, I can tell you it was massive. I know that someone told us that there was 3,000 something people, and I can almost guarantee you there was more than 3,000 people there.
But yes.
Yeah, but I mean, there were a lot of former players there. They were signing autographs. They had, like Zach Taylor was there, Trenton Irwin was there. They're up on the stage talking about the season. There was face painting, like big blow up inflatable things like for kids, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. There was a ton of people there. Everyone seemed to be having a good time, food trucks and stuff like that. So we'll be there. If you saw us there, if you were there and you saw us there, we were the two idiots walking around with a camera, acting like we had no idea what we were doing, because we really didn't. So, but yeah. Kevin, you have anything else to say about that?
Just that for like the inaugural premiere, the first go, it was very, very impressive. And I can't wait to see how this thing grows across the next couple of years. I kind of don't know what I was expecting, and this isn't a negative, but I kind of thought like, well, this is the first go. It's gonna have some rough spots.
Right.
And man, it didn't. It just cruised. There was so much to do, food, stuff for the kids. It was a lot of good. It was a really good time.
Yep. We were able to create a video. We put it together. It is out on OBI on YouTube if you want to go check it out. So, all right. So training camp. That's the news. Training camp has begun. I know it's not the regular season, but training camp is like the eve before preseason. And we're there, which means football's back. It's back now. It's not going away. The only time it's going away now is the bye week between preseason and regular season. That's okay, because it's back. In fact, as of watching this or listening to this, unless you're watching or listening live, on Thursday, the NFL opens preseason up with the Hall of Fame game. So,
yeah.
Kevin, are you excited that football is back?
I'm excited for training camp, and let's put it this way: I am legitimately amped to watch the Bears Texans play a bunch of third stringers tomorrow.
Yeah,
I've already made a plan. I'm going to get some wings. That's going to be some of the worst football you could possibly have, and I am going to soak in every minute of it. I'm so amped.
Yep. Oh, I know. I can't wait. And you're absolutely right, because like when we're in mid-October, we're going to look back at the Hall of Fame game about how terrible it is. You know what I mean? But like when you come from the summer where the most exciting thing is the draft and the combine and then mini camp and training camp, which you don't really get a good look at, the Hall of Fame game is like, I don't know. It's just like crack. You know what I mean? You can tell it's got us all hooked, because there's no way in hell that if they saved like an exhibition game, that didn't mean anything. If they save that for like November, I'll watch it. They have us, and they know it.
I know.
They know it.
We know it. Complain that it's bad, but I'll watch every minute of it.
Oh, I will too. All right. So a lot of news in and about training camp. What are some things that caught your
eye? The wide receiver battle. That is the thing everyone's talking about, and rightfully so. I would have told you this was a lock for Burton, but apparently everything I thought I knew about wide receiver 3 is out the window. Irwin and Yoshi are both competing for it. Charlie Jones had a great camp last camp. Burton's looking incredible, but for his draft pick, for being a third round draft pick, he looks incredible. But we kind of knew that was going to happen. I did not expect the battle to be this heated. I kind of thought by this point we would have a better idea of who it was going to be. I still think it will probably be Burton, but I am far from convinced.
I think the position is definitely Burton's to lose in the future. But I am very excited. I am very excited about everything that I've seen. Obviously, I haven't been there. I don't think you haven't been there yet, have you?
No, I'm going to go down probably next week, but no.
Okay. But yeah, we haven't been there yet. But all the video that we're seeing, like, I mean, I saw a couple Charlie Jones, touchdowns, stuff like that. Um, I like a lot of the reports I'm hearing about Yoshi working out of the slot. I know that TJ Hushmanzada has been working with Jermaine Burton on working out of the slot. I think if I had to predict on what's going to happen now, I would almost say that they're going to say, "Hey, what situation are we in, and where could we best use wide receiver 3, and what, if it's second long and we need our speed guys, maybe we'll put Burton out there and Yoshi out there, what, or third and long, whatever." But I could see different play calls with like tailor made for options for Burrow for
Yeah.
all these guys. You know what I mean? That like wide receivers almost like, or wide receiver 3 is like a revolving door. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, we are absolutely flush with wide receiving
Oh yeah.
talent. It's kind of wild.
Yep.
But it's a good problem to have. And I do think that at least for maybe the first 4 to 8 games, we could see it being very wide receiver by committee,
Oh
especially
yeah.
if that's
I can see that.
working out. I don't think that I think that they would like lean into that almost artificially because they want to know what they have for when T leaves. And if
Yeah.
both Yoshi and Burton are like doing well, I think they would almost artificially inflate their reps, even if one would maybe naturally become wide receiver 3. I don't see it happening. I think that they're going to like mix it up on purpose.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that. But yeah, Joe Burrow definitely. I know he said in an interview that he has the most firepower that he's ever had coming into this year. But yeah, I mean, you have Gasecki, who's more of a slot receiver, I think, than a tight end almost. Burton, who I mean, there's no doubt. I think he might be a first round or second round pick had there not been off field issues that arose and stuff like that. So there's a ton of talent there, ton of talent, and there's guys that we kind of forgot about, like Charlie Jones, who was hurt for a lot of the year last year. I'm very excited to see what he could do because when they took him out of Purdue, I thought at least that he was the heir apparent for Tyler Boyd, but
Yes.
then they got Yoshi, and then they got Burton. You know what I mean? It's a whole thing.
Yes.
So it's exciting. And
Talk about
go ahead.
weapons. You mentioned the tight ends.
Yeah.
They are going to have to make some decisions because we even said we thought that Erick All was not going to be on the pup list.
Yeah. We've talked about this all off season of what they're going to do at tight end. Yeah.
Yes, and now it is a problem. I guess probably a good
A
problem,
good
but
problem.
it
It's a good
is a
problem.
problem. Like it
Yeah.
needs to be solved because he's getting reps. He's 100%. He's going to
Yep.
be he's going to get ramped up, but he's good to go. What are they going to do with all these weapons and the desire to keep every one of them? It's going to
I don't
be
know. Yeah.
hard choices.
It is. I thought after the Irv Smith disaster, I thought like, I don't see them going after a revolving door style 1-year contract again, but they did. And they went and they got Mike Gesicki, which I'm very excited about. I think he could be great in this offense. And then they took All and McLaughlin in the draft, which blew me away. One, that All fell as far as he did, and then we got him in the 4th. And then McLaughlin, I didn't know a lot about him. I know there's a lot of talent there, but it seems that he fell in the 6th. That a lot of people were expecting him to go a lot higher. So we've been without depth at that position for a while. We had CJ Uzama. Oh, and I forgot, Drew Sample's back. But we've been, it's been like one primary receiving guy like CJ Uzama, and then Hayden Hurst. And then last year, Tanner Hudson kind of emerged in this bad room. And Drew Sample is kind of easing his way into this team more. I think we could agree as like an H-back,
Yes.
more than a traditional tight end. But basically right now they have top 5 tight ends, and they've typically only kept 4. And it would be, we know Gesicki's going to make it. We know Sample's going to make it. We know All's going to make it. Right? I think it comes down between the Tanner and the Tanner if they only keep 4. Did Tanner Hudson show you enough last year? Is he really that good? Or was he inflated because the rest of the room was bad? The rest of the room was bad last year. Or is Tanner McLaughlin, did he fall for the right reason? I mean, if you put either one of those guys on waivers, do they clear? Probably not. So if you want to keep 5, where do you take away another position from? What do you think?
I think they want to keep 5. Will they?
Okay.
I don't know. That's a lot. But I think they want to. And if I was going to gamble on Tanner Hudson clearing waivers, I'd say there's no way he does.
Oh no,
simply because he's proven he is at least a low-level starter, and
or backup,
or backup, and people don't have that around the league. You know who does clear waivers? Chris Evans, and they hate him. So if they do, I don't know why.
I can't think of any other. Yeah, go ahead.
Show me any love for Chris Evans.
There's not any.
There's not any. It doesn't exist.
There's not. He scores a touchdown against the Chiefs, and then the coaches are on the sideline going, "I hate that."
Considering it doesn't look like they're adding another running back,
right?
And having to play Chris Evans is clearly their worst nightmare. I don't think they look at that running back room and think that running with 3 running backs is the end of the world. It's risky because of injuries.
Yeah.
And P. Ryan, I think, will become available soon. I think they're probably watching him. If so, that changes the formula, and I think they will try to run with 4 running backs. But as of right now, if they're looking for room for 5 tight ends, I think they find it by having 3 running backs.
Oh, I totally agree with that. I do think that if they decide they're going to keep five tight ends, Chris Evans is the odd man out. And you said they ran with 3. If they run with 3 running backs, they did that last year. They did it last year.
But it's risky. I didn't think they were going to do it last year either.
I know, no, but I mean, because Evans doesn't contribute. He doesn't. It's like, he does some special team stuff, but like we've seen him flash on offense, what he can do especially as a receiver. And it's just strange to me that they just don't want him on the field. So to me, that would be the odd man out. Chris Evans is out if they want to keep 5. In your opinion, though, let's say they keep 4. Everyone's healthy. Is it Tanner McLachlan? Is he the one that goes?
Yes.
Okay. And then you hope he clears waivers. Maybe not.
And then you hope he clears waivers. I don't think he will. I think that somebody out there is going to snatch him up. Somebody out there with a weak tight end room. Look at us for the last couple of years before we're now suddenly flush. We would have jumped on a Tanner McLachlan. Fresh body, no idea what he can do, upside. We absolutely would have taken a swing on him. And there are half a dozen teams out there in the position today that we were in the last 2 years. But it's what you got to do because you don't know what Erick All is going to be yet. And Tanner Hudson has proven himself comfortable with this offense.
Yep.
And you have to have at least one receiving tight end that he's comfortable with the offense out the gate.
Yep.
Especially coming off the bench, which is likely how that would go down. It would be Gesicki and Sample, and then occasionally Tanner comes off the bench. So we're talking limited reps for who has ever left. And those limited reps are going to matter a lot for Tanner Hudson having all the reps he did last year. Right. So I think it would be Hudson, and I don't even think it would be particularly close. It's not really a talent issue. It's about where what space they occupy on the roster.
I get that. Just the comfort with the offense and the quarterback trust into the player, And another thing, I know that we haven't heard a lot from either tight end. I know when Erick All was cleared, there's a lot of eyes on him and a lot of film on him from practice where he looks athletic. You can't really tell from film. I haven't heard anything about Tanner McLachlan at all. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It's just a point that I'm making. Just haven't heard a lot. Doesn't mean anything. I would agree that if I had to bet what they would do, I would say they keep 5 just to make sure they hold on to all 5. It's a tough position to stay healthy in. You're on the line, you're getting hit every play. A little bit more physical than wide receivers. So, I could see them keeping 5 and then cutting Chris Evans loose. Who I really want to see? I'm excited to see all of them perform. I want to see Gesicki, stretch the field. I want to see Tanner Hudson out there with he's got a tight end face. Get your tight end face out there. You know what I mean? He just looks like a tight end. I'm excited to see do some work? Drew Sample. I just love it when Drew Sample gets the ball with a little bit of space and get his big ass moving, running into cornerbacks like a Mack truck. I love it.
We will see Drew Sample catch upwards of 6 balls this season. And I'll be excited for every single one of them.
Every single one of them are great. Think about the turnaround on the Drew Sample. Everyone hated him. Drew Sample's off. I can't believe included. I am myself included too. I can't believe they took him 2nd round pick, I think, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And then it's awful. It's a wasted draft pick. They re-sign him or extend him. He comes back and then just kind of comes into his own as an extra like blocking guy. He's in the backfield sometimes opening up holes. But when he catches the ball and gets his butt moving, it's fun. It is fun watching him score. It is fun. All right. So anything else from training camp that you're really keeping an eye on? They just now in sorry, not to take anything away for those watching, they just put on the pads for the first time yesterday. So we've only seen one practice with pads. So it's hard to say what we think about the defensive line, the offensive line. We haven't really seen a ton. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I want to get into the pads because they've also been doing a little bit of live tackling, which is wild.
I know.
We'll get to that. That's part of a greater question I have for you. But the only other thing I'm really looking at is Chase Brown is looking like RB1. He's slowly but surely coming into his own that way. I kind of I've been on the Chase Brown train since the moment we drafted him. I'm on record over and over and over again. I think he's going to be incredible. Other than that, they're doing a bunch of weird stuff. I don't want to say they might just be practicing, and we never see it again in a live game. But they are doing some stuff we don't see the Bengals do. We know that for a while there, they were trying 13 personnel, 3 tight ends on the field at once. Which, if you've got 5, you might as well try to use them. I know that they were running a 3-4 with Osai and Murphy as the outside, which is, that's really fun.
Sure.
If you want to talk about like being multiple, like man, that's multiple. But I'm just keeping an eye on that just to know what to expect. I want to be excited, and this is how you get me excited is by running some very non-Bengals style football. Just keep it new.
You know, as much as I love Tyler Boyd, and no one's ever going to be able to say that I don't love Tyler Boyd, but like having the big 3 kind of keeps them in a situation where they have to have the big 3 on the field, and Tyler Boyd has to stay in the slot because he doesn't have the speed that Higgins and Chase have. So without him, and with guys that do have that speed like Yoshi and Burton, along with guys who can play in the spot, it changes the whole offense. And now we have Dan Pitcher is a whole new offensive coordinator coming in, but it's not. I don't want to say it's an addition by subtraction because I don't want to make it sound like we're better because Tyler Boyd's gone. I think we're more versatile. I think the offense can be more versatile and do different things with the receivers lining up everywhere because Tyler Boyd is gone. What do you think about that?
I think it's true. I think when you have the big 3, there is a correct way for this Bengals offense to function. And that is to put all 3 out there every play that you possibly can. There's no longer a correct way. We may find it as the season progresses, but I fully expect the first couple games especially to be really, really fun football as we see them trying out a whole bunch of new stuff we've never seen from them before.
Yep. I'm excited. I think that like if I had to describe what I'm expecting from the offense, it's going to be like a remake of a good movie, is the source material is there because of course he served under Brian Callahan, Dan Pitcher did. But like it's going to be, it's a twist. It's a new twist. Like Pet Sematary, the new Pet Sematary, the girl's the ghost girl, whatever. Anyway, what else you got going on? What else you thinking about?
I wanted to bring this up. So they're doing live tackling.
Yes.
In the training camp.
Yep.
We know that the starters are going to play in at least one game, possibly 2. We're looking at significant reps. What are your thoughts on this? Because when we made it to the championship game and then in the Super Bowl, it was because of health. Mm-hmm. And people get hurt all the time in preseason football. But also, we've always gotten off to a slow start.
Yeah.
Which meant that there was always these huge periods of time where every game mattered. And I know every game matters, but you know what I mean? Every game truly mattered. I think Zach Taylor's tired of getting off to a slow start. I think that has become really, really clear with every decision he's been making so far. But it's risky. Yeah, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Is he making the right move? Do you support this?
I totally agree with you that there's been a fundamental change in the way that they go about things, and I totally support it. 100% I support it because we saw last year that just because you're going to coddle your guys, it doesn't do anything. Doesn't mean anything. Burrow goes out there in training camp and strains his calf, and then he's fully healthy for what, 4 games, and then he loses his wrist.
I don't even know about.
I don't even know if it was maybe 2 games. 2 games.
I don't
and then
think
he hurt
he was
his wrist.
Ever truly healthy. I just think he got to the point where he could push through.
Yeah, but I don't think the reps, especially at quarterback, where you're hopefully not getting hit. You know what I mean? I don't think they're putting the wear and tear on his body that the coaches were keeping him out in the preseason for. I think it's mostly just luck. You know what I mean? It's just luck. You fall a certain way or you don't. You get hit a certain way and you land weird or you don't. I think that over the last 4 years, they've been to the Super Bowl, they've been to the AFC Championship game twice. Now is the year. It didn't, it was better. It didn't work. You reach new heights, but I think now it's yeah, let's try something a little bit different. Let's get out of the gate fast and hot, and then we don't have to freak out about we got to win 4 of the last 5 games. Then you don't have to worry about that. If you win all the stuff in the beginning, you drop one in the end, it's okay. Like you said, every game matters. But every game really, really matters in the end of the season when you're 1-3 heading into week 5. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, what do you think?
I will deny ever saying this. If like one of the big players gets hurt, I'll delete this episode, and you'll never ever hear me admit that I said it. But I do think I agree. We have to get off to a good start. That's every football team that exists.
Yeah.
We have been lucky that we've been able to outplay the bad starts we've had.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot keep winning football that way. You cannot keep getting into the playoffs with bad starts the way we did. Eventually, it's going to go south. I'm glad they're playing them. I hope they're cautious about it. I hope they know what they're doing. They do. It's going to be fine. But I'm nervous.
Yeah, I am too. But I think this is the best. This is a logical move. It makes sense to me. You know what I mean? It didn't work not to play him. Let's see what happens when we play him. So, but yeah, we'll know a lot more next week when we have our show, just because we'll have an entire week worth of hitting practices where we just have one right now. I did see one rep of Amarius Mims shutting down Miles Murphy, and it was just a thing of beauty. It was just beautiful. But it's one rep. Doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't. Last question on that.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one, what is the reason for this need to have a fast start? Is it because they want a good winning record, or is it because week 2 is
Chiefs?
The Chiefs? Yeah,
it's the Chiefs. It's a winning record. It's a winning record, and I think that they all know
the Chiefs being there at week 2 is a not insignificant portion of why they're handling training.
Sure, I think that they see that, and I think we do too. Who's their primary? Baltimore's in the division, but when I think of who their primary rival is at getting that number 1 seed, I think of Kansas City before I think of Baltimore. So
I think it's both. I do expect Baltimore to take a step back, but we will see. Yeah. But either way, it's both. But we know how to play Baltimore. That doesn't mean that we are going to win.
Right.
But it does mean that we know what Baltimore's bringing.
Right.
There's plenty of hours dedicated to watching every move that everybody in the division makes. Yep. But the Chiefs, we will not know what they're bringing week 2. So we better be ready for anything.
You know what I'm really getting sick of is playing the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I love playing the Chiefs. I'd like to play the Chiefs in Cincinnati one day. I don't even know if Kansas City people know that Cincinnati is a place. I think the Bengals just show up sometimes and beat the pants off of them. I love it. New locker room. That's what else we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
New locker room. So last year, or maybe it was the year before last year, they started doing these NFLPA surveys where they were like, oh, hey, here's a team's report card for this, this, and this. And the Bengals report card was not good. It was like a D or an F for their facilities. And they unveiled a new locker room this yesterday. And it's absolutely amazing. We talked about showing pictures and video, but for those of you listening, it's not really going to do anything for you. But there's just some crazy amenities that I've never even heard of. I never even thought of,
the drying racks for the pads and for the
the drying racks. Just so they have these lockers above their locker that kind of folds down, and they can put their shoulder pads and their helmets and another thing, gloves and stuff like that. And I think they said there's 4 fans in there, and the fans dry everything overnight. Each player has their own cleat dryer, which I know Ted Karras said in a video that every team he's been at, they fight over cleat dryers in the locker room. So every player having their own cleat dryer is awesome. Just this aesthetically, it's gorgeous. It's just
it's beautiful. It's really really cool. It's modern. It's sleek. It's open.
Yeah,
and that statement piece, so like the artistic piece of the ceiling looks really cool. All the lighting effects. It just screams like modern NFL locker room.
And while it does scream modern, there's a lot of like real dark wood, so it looks like a classic. You know what I mean? It looks like it was I don't know how to describe it. It's very modern, but it's also kind of classic. It's really cool. I know just some like little things. I know that there's a Joe Burrow has his own mini fridge. I guess that was something that they gave him. Chase and Higgins' locker has an empty space in between them as per their request. And then I saw Chad asked if that's so he can come back. But it's really, I mean, they're doing all the stuff. They're doing all the stuff we've been complaining that they haven't done for,
Yes.
20, 30 years. They're doing it all. I mean, I think about
stadium upgrades, new turf, which we all want, grass,
Yep.
but that's probably not possible to maintain with the current facilities they have deep into the winter. So I get why they didn't, but new turf. I did have something to say that I think is funny. I had an epiphany about why Burrow gets his own little mini fridge and microwave, because they didn't have a choice. They didn't have a choice because look, Burrow brought in a mini fridge and microwave. He brought that in. It was sitting next to his locker this whole time.
Yeah.
All right. So are you going to tell Burrow he can't have a mini fridge and locker? And
are you going to build it into the room?
Right. Because the other thing is, are you going to not build it into the room and then have your brand new, shiny, beautiful locker room and
have a college dorm?
Run an extension cord from like down the hall to plug in like his like old like beat up mini fridge? Like, probably not. So everybody's like, oh, he's the quarterback, he deserves it. This wasn't even about deserving it. He does. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
I think it's the Bengals trying not to make it look bad.
It's what it is. No options. He was going to have a microwave there. You might as well try to make it look decent. Like,
exactly. Yep. So we're going to tuck it away. If he's going to bring his stupid fridge and his stupid microwave, we're going to put it somewhere where no one's going to see it very
100%.
well.
100%.
Yep. So it was awesome. It's awesome stuff. But like, since Burrow's been here, this is year 5. Yeah, this is year 5. Since Burrow's been here, they've introduced a Ring of Honor, which is something we've complained about for decades. They've upgraded the facilities. They've gone to a Super Bowl and 2 AFC championship games. They've been on the national level. They've changed their uniforms. They've paid free agents a lot of money to come here. A lot of money to come here and play. And
new
now
turf, stadium upgrades.
Yeah, everything. And now doing all this stuff the way that they're doing this, so they're showing the entire NFL, and they're showing first of all, they're showing all these kids coming to the NFL as, I hope I get drafted by the Bengals. Yes. All these wide receivers. I want to play with Joe Burrow, and I want to be in that locker room. That's what they hope. And all these free agents, they're seeing it all over the league. This is no longer, I remember when Justin Smith was here, he was like our prize defensive end, and then he and all the other free agents, I don't want to be here anymore. I spent 4 years or 5 years, whatever, here. I don't want to stay here anymore. I want to go somewhere else because I want to win. And he did. He went to San Francisco. But that's not the case anymore, I hope I can stay here. I hope they have the money to keep me here. Maybe I can get a discount. Something. You know what I mean? It's a different world. Whatever's happened, whatever you think has happened in the universe, maybe things are bad right now. Things are bad in some places. But the Bengals are good.
Sometimes all we got, man.
Sometimes you got to take it. Sometimes you just got to take what you can get. The Bengals are good. Quit complaining about anything else. Oh man. All right. I know we got a couple minutes left. You can talk about Jamar Chase just for a couple minutes.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it. He's holding in, but he's doing it the right way. He has been seen kind of like hanging out with the wide receivers, coaching them up a little bit. After practice, he's hitting the jugs machine. He's getting his catches in. If I'm annoyed at anybody, it's the team, not Jamar. They should be trying to work on a contract extension right now. Whatever money or whatever they're dragging their feet on, as opposed to signing him, is going to end up being less than they will end up spending if they just keep waiting on this. That $1 million they're dickering over is going to become $5 million with the next big wide receiver signing, or it's going to become way more than that if this thing drags into next year.
Oh no, absolutely.
Bengals front office, I know you watch this podcast religiously. Just sign the man. Just sign the man. Put an extra $1 million on it, and he'll sign it, and then we're good to go. Let's start the season strong.
If he signs before next week, it's coming, right?
The 3 and out effect, the thing that has been gone.
3 and out effect. Yep, that.
I thought there was no way you even knew where that button was anymore. That has been gone for a year.
I know. I still have it. It's tucked away. I got it. It's right here. No, I totally agree. I do think he's doing it the right way. He was signing autographs. I know I saw something about him, like kind of coaching up Burton and stuff like that. He's there. He could be home right now. You know what I mean? He could be saying, "Hey, trade me." That's what he could be saying right now, but he's not. He's there. I absolutely think this deal will get done. As to when it gets done, I'm not sure. But I can't blame him. I mean, his base salary is 1.055. He is getting 3.8 million roster bonus and a 4.9 billion signing bonus. So his total cap hit is $9.8 million, but he's a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. And if I'm Jamar Chase, I'm saying there's no way I want to play, risk my health for that much when it should be up here. You know what I mean? So I get it.
Sure.
He's not going to play until it matters. Hopefully the Bengals sign him. You heard Kevin. It's just $1 million. It's just $1 million. That's all it is.
I mean, when we're talking 35 or whatever he ends up commanding.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot. It's going to reset the market.
That $1 million is going to be $5 to $10 million extra dollars as far as the cap is concerned and as far as just overall expenditure is concerned.
Yep.
If this thing doesn't get solved this year and it drags into next year.
Every week that goes by, it goes up a little bit. Yep. Every week. Every week it's going to go up a little bit. And if you let him go this year and he goes off, like we hope he does, and they win the Super Bowl, now you're going to have to even pony up more. So it's cheaper cheaper for you. Get it done now. Give him whatever he wants. Keep him with Joe Burrow forever. All right. You got anything else, man?
That's it.
All right. Well, once again, we are brought to you by, we're on the Orange and Black Insider on YouTube. Go there, subscribe, like, follow. And then we are on the Believe Network. Believe in Cincy is our channel. It's not just us. It's Anthony and John at OBI. It's Matt and Willie No Ball, and it's Bengal Jim and all his crew over at Bengal Jim and Friends. So subscribe there. I know they're on everywhere that you can get everywhere that you can get podcasts. They're there, but iTunes, I know they're there for a fact because that's what I look at it. I listen to us like a weirdo. Anyway, yeah. So like, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll catch you next week. Who day?